Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to dive into some stuff around OpenAI. It's been in the news a lot lately, and
Yeah,
I think there's some important questions to ask. So
absolutely.
we've got some excerpts from a recent podcast episode,
Okay.
and there's this AI commentator who breaks down some things that look like some
Yeah.
major shifts in OpenAI's stance.
It's been fascinating to watch.
It really has, yeah. And
Some of these developments,
yeah,
it's almost like they're breaking promises.
it is right. It's like, remember all that talk about
Right.
AGI?
Yeah, well, especially like the promises that Sam Altman himself made
Right.
early on.
Like, they wouldn't let AGI be
Yeah.
used for commercial gain or military purposes.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a big part of their whole message,
Totally. And remember AGI? That's
Yeah.
artificial general intelligence. And that's like,
Essentially AI that can do any intellectual task that a human can.
right.
That's how they've defined it.
Yeah, well, like, it could automate like half the world's jobs.
Yeah. They've even said that themselves.
It's kind of scary to think about.
The impact of that is just
Yeah.
mind-boggling. And, their initial stance was like,
Yeah.
we don't want this to be controlled
Yeah,
by
yeah.
corporations for profit.
Exactly. So
It should be this.
let's get into it. Let's get into these broken promises.
Okay.
The first one is about Microsoft.
All right.
So Microsoft's a major investor in OpenAI. What's the deal there?
Well, so OpenAI initially promised that their commercial contract with Microsoft
Yeah.
would be void
Okay.
once they achieved AGI.
So
Like profits from AGI would go to their nonprofit arm.
Huh.
And they said that would ensure a more like equitable
Yeah.
distribution of the benefit.
Got it.
But now
Uh-oh.
it seems like they're kind of backtracking.
So they might actually just let
Well,
Microsoft
it looks that way.
have this huge control.
It looks like they might let Microsoft have a lot of control over AGI.
Even though they said they wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's a really big deal because
Yeah.
if one company gets like a monopoly
Right.
on a technology as transformative as this,
It could.
it could reshape the whole global economy.
Yeah. That's
Potentially.
that's scary.
Yeah.
And like the commentator even quoted OpenAI
Oh, really?
as saying that they've left themselves some flexibility because we don't know what will happen.
Flexibility.
I know, right?
That sounds,
That sounds like a backpedal.
yeah.
Like, what happened to keeping AGI out of the hands of corporations?
It seems completely contradictory to what they were saying before.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder,
Right.
like, what's going to happen to jobs,
To the future of work.
to the future of work?
Like if a corporation that is focused on profit ends up controlling a technology that can automate half the world's jobs.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, oh, yeah, we promised to share the wealth
Right.
and prevent monopolies, but we changed our minds.
Yeah. It's like, just kidding.
Yeah. And wasn't this like a major selling point
It was a key part of their message
for them initially?
early on, definitely.
Oof, okay, so that's one broken promise down.
All right.
What's the next one?
So the next one is actually kind of ironic.
Okay.
You know how Altman talked about how unsettling he found the idea of AI for advertising?
Yeah.
He even said ads were a last resort.
He was pretty adamant about that.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So with this potential shift toward letting Microsoft commercialize AGI,
Yeah.
we could be looking at a future
Oh.
where targeted advertising
No.
is fueled by like really powerful AI insights.
Like AI is going to know
Yeah.
exactly what we want.
Yeah, and
We
that
even want it.
manipulate us into
Oh, gosh.
buying things on a scale we can't imagine.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and the source material actually mentioned that Microsoft is already like bragging
No way.
about how AI can cut labor costs.
Really?
They're basically using layoffs as a selling point
Oh, my God.
for their AI products.
That's so messed up.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
If they're already saying that AI is going to replace workers,
Right.
what happens when they control the technology?
Yeah.
They can automate like half of all jobs.
It's like, what role will humans even have
Right.
in the workforce?
Yeah. And it just seems like profit,
Right.
the only thing they care about.
It's like, shouldn't we be thinking about
Yeah.
ethical considerations too?
Of course. Like societal impact and all that.
That's a big question.
Huge question. Okay, so that's two broken promises.
No.
What's next?
This next one is maybe the most concerning.
Okay.
So OpenAI initially had a strong stance against their tech
Yeah.
being used for military purposes. But that seems to be changing really fast.
I mean, they're working with the military now.
It seems like it, yeah.
How did that happen?
Well, at first they said no weapons development at all.
Okay.
Then it was like, okay, maybe defensive applications. And now they're like openly working with the U.S. military on AI for drone defense.
So they went from no weapons
Right.
to defensive only to like full-on military applications.
It seems that way.
That's a slippery slope.
Definitely.
And it's not just us saying this.
Right.
Like, the source mentions that even OpenAI employees
Oh, wow.
are expressing concerns.
Really?
Yeah, they're worried about their technology
Wow.
being used against human-piloted aircraft
Oh, my gosh.
and even comparing it to Skynet
No way.
from Terminator.
That's scary.
And,
So even the people building this are worried about a Terminator scenario.
It makes you think, like, do they even know what they're doing?
It raises a lot of questions.
It does. Like, maybe they've bitten off more than they can chew.
It seems like they might not fully understand the implications.
Yeah, okay, so we've got OpenAI potentially going back on their promises about Microsoft,
Yeah.
about AI-powered ads
Right.
and military applications.
It's like their whole vision of ethical AI development
Yeah.
is crumbling.
Right in front of us.
Yeah.
It's like their initial message was so hopeful.
Yeah.
Remember they were talking about democratizing AI,
Right.
sharing the benefits widely?
Yeah. What happened to that?
I don't know. It's like...
It's complicated, right?
It is.
Developing this kind of cutting-edge technology.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure. Investors, deadlines, competition.
It's like they got swept up in it all.
Yeah.
And they forgot about their original mission.
Maybe, or maybe they just underestimated how hard it is to develop AI ethically and responsibly.
That's a good point. And it's not just OpenAI, is it?
Right. It seems like it's a bigger trend.
Yeah.
Like we're rushing towards AI advancement without really thinking about
the consequences.
Yeah.
So what can we do about it?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Like, should we just watch as this technology reshapes our world?
Or do we have a say?
I think we definitely have a say.
Okay, good. I was hoping you'd say that.
We just have to make our voices heard.
All right, so how do we do that?
Well, for starters, we have to stay informed.
Okay.
Don't just, like, read the headlines and be done with it.
Yeah.
Like, really dig deeper, find different sources.
Got it.
And, like, really think critically about what you're reading.
So it's not enough to just know, like, oh, OpenAI changed their mind.
Yeah.
It's like we need to understand why.
Exactly. Why and how
Yeah.
and what it really means.
The consequences.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we're informed, then what?
Then you can start asking tough questions.
Okay.
Challenge the status quo.
Right.
Demand transparency from the people in power.
Like the leaders at OpenAI.
Yeah. And hold them accountable
Okay.
for the choices they're making.
That sounds great.
Yeah. It's about taking ownership.
It does, but it also feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah. I get
Like
it.
there's so much information, and AI is so complex.
It can feel like drinking from a fire hose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin?
Well, luckily, there are resources to help us.
Yeah.
There are organizations like
Now.
Future of Life Institute, the AI Now Institute.
Okay.
They're dedicated to researching and advocating for responsible AI development.
So we can learn from experts, basically.
Exactly. And you can engage in public discourse and even support organizations that align with your values.
Okay, that sounds like a good starting point.
Yeah. And remember,
Yeah.
even small actions can have a big impact.
Like what?
Like sharing an article, talking to your friends, asking critical questions.
Right.
All of that can contribute to a broader shift.
Like a butterfly effect.
Exactly.
One small thing can lead to something huge.
Exactly. We have the power to influence the direction of AI.
That's empowering. It's not about feeling powerless.
Right.
It's about
taking action and shaping the future.
I like that. So to our listeners, we encourage you to take that first step.
However small.
Yeah. Stay informed.
Ask questions.
And join the movement.
With responsible AI.
Yes.
Awesome.
The future of AI isn't set in stone.
I like that.
It's being written right now.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play.
Okay, that's a good message.
Yeah, it gives me hope.
Me too.
That we can navigate this in a way that benefits everyone.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has been.
I'm feeling a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
But also cautiously optimistic.
I think that's a good perspective.
Yeah.
We should be aware of the risks.
For sure.
But also open to the possibilities.
Absolutely. To everyone listening,
Yes.
Thanks for joining us.
We appreciate you.
And remember, the power is in our hands.
That's right.
Until next time, keep those
Yeah.
critical thinking skills sharp. Keep asking those questions.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll even find some answers.
Hopefully.
Thanks for listening.
See ya. Yeah. It's a crucial question.
It is.
Especially when we think about this next broken promise,
Okay.
which might be the most concerning one.
Oh, this doesn't sound good.
Yeah, so OpenAI was really firm
Mm-hmm.
about their technology not being used for military purposes.
Right.
But it seems like that's changing.
Wait, so the company that said
Yeah.
keep AI out of the wrong hands
Yeah.
is now working with the military.
It seems like it.
How did that happen?
Well, their initial stance was like a complete ban
Okay.
on weapons development.
Got it.
Then it shifted to like, okay, maybe defensive applications are okay.
Uh-oh.
And now they're like openly working with the U.S. military
Whoa.
on AI for drone defense.
Hold on. So they went from no weapons
Right.
to defensive only
Yeah.
to actually working with the military.
It seems that way.
That's a pretty big shift.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope for sure.
And it's not just us saying this right.
Right.
Like even OpenAI employees are worried.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The source material mentions that
Right.
some employees are concerned
Really?
about their tech being used against human-piloted aircraft.
Oh, my God.
And they're even comparing it to Skynet
No way.
from Terminator.
Like the Terminator movies.
Yeah.
That's pretty alarming.
It is. Like, if their own people are worried,
Right.
that should tell us something.
It makes you wonder if they really understand
Yeah.
what they're doing.
They're like, have they thought this through?
Yeah. It highlights how hard it is
Mm-hmm.
to control a technology this powerful.
Okay, so we've got OpenAI potentially backtracking
Yeah.
on promises about Microsoft,
Right.
about AI-powered ads,
Uh-huh.
and now military applications.
It's like their whole vision of
Yeah.
ethical AI.
It's just gone.
Yeah, it seems like it's crumbling.
It's sad because their early message was so hopeful.
I know.
They talked about democratizing AI.
Right, like sharing the benefits.
Yeah, what happened to that?
It's tough because the reality of developing technology
Yeah,
is messy.
I know.
There are investors to please, deadlines to meet,
Yeah.
and competition.
So much pressure.
Yeah. And maybe they just got swept up in it all.
And forgot their mission?
Yeah. Or maybe they just didn't realize
Yeah.
how complicated it would be.
To do it ethically.
Exactly.
And it's not just OpenAI, right?
Right. It feels like everyone's
Yeah.
rushing towards AI.
Without thinking.
Yeah, without considering the consequences.
Well, what can we even
That's
do?
true.
That's the big question.
It is like, should we just sit back
Right, and watch it all happen.
and just hope for the best?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
I think we have a say.
Okay, I like that.
We just have to make our voices heard.
Okay, how do we do that?
Well, first we need to stay informed.
Okay.
Don't just skim the headlines.
Yeah.
Really dig deeper.
Okay.
Find different sources.
And think critically about what you're reading.
So it's not enough to know that OpenAI changed their minds.
Right.
We need to understand why.
Exactly why and how
Yeah.
and what it could mean.
Okay, and once we're informed.
Then you can start asking questions,
So-
challenge the status quo,
Yeah,
demand transparency from the
Oh.
people in power.
like the leaders at OpenAI.
Yeah. And hold them accountable
Okay.
for their decisions.
This sounds great,
Yeah.
but also kind of overwhelming.
I get it. There's a lot of information out there.
There is. And AI is complicated.
Yeah. It can feel like a lot.
But where do we even start?
Yeah. It can be a lot. So where were we?
Right, we were talking about how to make our voices heard.
Yeah. Like, what can we actually do?
Yeah, it's all well and good to say, stay informed.
Right.
But how does that actually translate into action?
Exactly. Like, how do we make sure AI doesn't turn into some
Yeah.
dystopian nightmare?
Like where robots rule the world and we're all
Right.
like slaves to algorithms.
Exactly. So it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Like, we need to understand AI,
Mm-hmm.
its potential benefits and risks.
So not just the tech itself, but like
Right.
the bigger picture.
Exactly. Like the social, economic, political implications.
Okay, so we got to become AI literate.
Yeah. Basically.
But how do we do that?
Well, think critically about how AI is being developed,
Mm-hmm.
who's benefiting from it,
Okay.
and have open conversations
Yeah.
about the future we want to create.
I like that it's not just about
Right.
accepting what's happening.
It's about shaping the future.
Yeah. And I'm sensing a glimmer of hope here.
Me too.
Like if
Yeah.
enough of us
Right.
wake up and pay attention,
Yeah.
we can actually make a difference.
We're not powerless.
Okay. That's good to hear.
It's about taking ownership.
All right. So what are some practical steps?
Okay, so first,
Yeah.
Diversify your information sources.
Okay.
Don't just rely on one news outlet
Right.
or social media platform.
Get different perspectives.
Exactly. Read articles, listen to podcasts, follow experts in the field.
Great advice. So once we're informed,
Yeah.
how do we actually make our voices heard?
You can support organizations
Okay.
that are working towards ethical AI, like the Future of Life Institute,
Okay.
the AI Now Institute,
Mm-hmm.
the Electronic Frontier Foundation.
They're doing good work.
You can donate, volunteer, or just spread the word.
Awesome. What else?
Engage in public discourse.
Oh.
Write to your elected officials.
Right.
Go to town hall meetings.
Yeah.
Participate in online discussions.
Make some noise.
Exactly. The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I like that. And don't forget,
Yeah.
individual actions matter.
They do.
Like talking to friends and family,
Yeah.
sharing articles,
Right.
encouraging critical thinking.
We need a collective awakening.
Yeah, it's like planting seeds.
I love that analogy.
The more we plant,
Yeah,
the better the future will be.
exactly. And even small actions can have a ripple effect.
Like a butterfly effect.
Exactly.
Awesome. It's not about feeling helpless.
Right.
It's about taking action
Yeah, even if it's small.
and believing we can make a difference.
That's what matters.
So to everyone listening,
Yeah.
don't just sit on the sidelines.
Get involved.
Speak up
And let's work together.
to make AI a force for good.
The future is in our hands.
I love that.
Let's make it a future
Yeah.
we can all be proud of.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Keep those minds curious.
Be curious.
Keep those questions coming.
Keep asking.
And remember the conversation about AI.
Yeah.
It's just beginning.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening.